Denis Villeneuve, you directed the mystery thriller Prisoners, which is your first feature film since Incendies, which was nominated at the Oscars a few years ago. What attracted you to this particular material?
No, it's just that it was a Prisoners is at the start was an astonishing screenplay written by Aaron Guzikowski, and by the way, that's why it was so easy in some ways to bring such a cast in front of the camera because it's just that everybody loved the screenplay. I was attracted by about the screenplay, about what it was saying about North America today, about our relationship with violence and torture, and about our fears. It says a lot about things about our society today, and I felt it was those things were said in a very elegant and interesting way.
No, the central mystery of the film, there are a lot of major twists and turns. When you first read the screenplay, were you surprised by some of the directions it went in and the ultimate outcome without giving anything away to anyone who hasn't seen it?
No, the thing that's the thing is that what the audience is experiencing looking at the movies, it was the same as I read the screenplay. It was like a very daunting, haunting, very profound and powerful experience to read the screenplay the first time, and I was just not able to stop reading it. You know, it's like it was a page turner and a very tough experience at the same time, and beautiful one as well. It's just that no, it's just it was I just felt immediately in love with the screenplay. Unfortunately, in some ways, because I thought it was a very dark piece, and I was afraid to do it in some ways. Yeah.
The story revolves around the main character is Keller Dover, and he's played by Hugh Jackman. He's a father whose young daughter has gone missing. He becomes more desperate and begins to make dangerous and violent decisions and criminal decisions. Did you ever have trouble sympathizing with him as the film went on because he's doing so many really sometimes really awful things?
The thing is that from the start, there was distributors and producers that were worried that said to me, you know, the screenplay is so strong, but the main character, Keller Dover, we are afraid the audience won't love this character. And my answer was, but they don't need to love him. We don't need to love Keller Dover. We need to understand him. We need to follow him through going through this. Is struggling with his inner moral conflict. It was we have to follow him in this path, and then we will be able to digest this story. But it's not about loving him. I don't think that you can agree with what he's doing, but you can understand why he's doing it.
Yeah, well, I think one of the keys to understanding Keller is probably this just the fact of his child going missing, and when children are involved and children are in danger, there seems to be a lot more. A human being's moral compass kind of almost goes haywire, you know, just trying to protect children. Do you think that's the case?
It's universal. I mean, any father on earth will understand the fact that if someone is threatening your family, you want to be there to protect your family. It's something that is in our how can I say that it's in our DNA. I mean, we as fathers we are designed to protect our tribe, to our families, and it's something that is universal, and that's why I think that this story as something that is in a way a timeless story and pretty universal as well. I think that someone from China or from France can totally understand this story. That's the beauty of I think that strong stories are stories that can go through borders like this.
Now, from the beginning, we're shown how Keller is always prepared for a disaster. You know, he has stockpiles of supplies in his basement to, you know, if the entire social order breaks down, you know, he's ready for it and he's prepared. And we see that a lot these days, in America at least. I don't know about the rest of the world, where people seem to be sort of anticipating the collapse of society. Is that something that you consider a specifically like maybe an American or a North American phenomenon, or is that also universal?
Well, the thing is that I like to talk about the things I know, and what I know in this specifically is my my society, which is Canadian one, and as a Canadian, I feel very close to America. So I think that I feel very American in some way. I just that I have a little distance with America that allowed me to see things sometimes that and I feel that in America there's a kind of paranoia and a lack of confidence in your own institutions. By the way, this lack of confidence in institutions, we have the same in Canada right now. It's something that I feel very close to. The tension between the institution and the freedom of individuality, the individual's freedom and the power of institution is a tension that exists since the birth of America, and it's something that is a subject that is timeless in some ways from a North American point of view. But the idea of paranoia is I think the inner paranoia is something that's pretty American, I think so, yeah.
With that paranoia, we see a lot of, maybe a certain amount of pessimism in culture, where you have this boom of zombie movies and TV shows, and the end of the world and that sort of thing. In addition to more realistic stories like Prisoners, do you think that's do you think that sort of paranoia and pessimism is seeping into the films, into the culture, into TV and all that as well?
It's a very, very good question. I love this question. It's a very tough one at the same time, because the thing is that if I talk from my Canadian perspective, it's just that we are dealing with a world that is, from the environment point of view, is collapsing right now, and the government are doing nothing. So that, of course, it's easy to be cynical and to have to lack confidence in our own institutions, and it's tough to raise children in such an environment, because it's tough to have hope in some ways. And I think that this lack of hope, this fear of the future, is very present in the cinema nowadays. It's a way that artists are supposed to be people that are trying to see in the future. They're trying to read in society, to read in human behaviors, to be able to digest the past.
He stays in custody until my daughter's found, right?
We have a 48-hour hold on. It ends tomorrow unless we bring charges.
We'll charge him with something.
That boy has never been in trouble, not a day in his life.
Well, this thing's clean. I'd start looking in the woods by the rest stop.
The police said they're letting him go today.
What you doing? Tell me!
We do have a question from our chat room that one of our other editors is in there, Paul Sheehan. He was wondering, how did you work on Polytechnique, which was also very dark, prepare you for Prisoners, if at all?
Oh, it did, and so because on Polytechnique, it was a movie that was based on a massive research that I did with Jacques Davids, the screenwriter. We both worked on the screenplay together, and it was based on and it's just that it was the first time that I worked on that level of violence, and it raised a lot of questions inside myself about violence, how to approach it, how to depict violence in front of the camera, and I came with the only way I felt comfortable doing it was to show the total impact and ugliness and power of violence, instead of trying to make a show out of it, to just show the raw impact of violence on the victims, from the victim's point of view. So this approach from the victim's point of view is something that is a start of a process, that approach that I designed thought of and designed in Polytechnique, and that I did again doing Prisoners.
Now, Prisoners has a very cold, wintry kind of look. The setting, the temperature, that sort of mood sort of pervades the entire story, and it's the cinematographer is Roger Deakins, who is one of the most respected currently working in the field. Tell me about how you developed the visual style with him.
The thing is that we inspired ourselves. Both of us, Roger and I, are from the documentaries. We were born in doing documentaries. So it means that we are both people. I think I don't want to talk for himself, but for him. But the way I feel is that we both inspired ourselves from scouting and from the nature that surrounded us. And the thing is that the start was thinking about what the weather will look like in Thanksgiving time, which means that there's overcast. I mean, a lot of clouds, no blue sky, a lot of rain, a tension in the air, silence in the no animals, no something that's a kind of the feeling of, it's a precise moment in the north where you feel like doom because you know that winter will be upon you soon. It's like a kind of tension in the air, and that I was looking for that precise tension, and there's a quality to the light there at that precise moment that the light is like silver. And so with Roger, I showed him photographs, and he did the same. By the way, we were sharing. We inspired ourselves from photographers, and we defined a kind of vocabulary for the movie, which would be based on making as less shot as possible, trying to make tableau and very subtle camera movements. It's something like just feel the pressure and bring a kind of claustrophobic approach to the images coming from the darkness and the clouds, and the way we frame the movie to put pressure on the characters. That's the way we approach it in I guess in a broad way.
Now, as you mentioned earlier, the film has this very accomplished ensemble cast who are all attracted to the script. Obviously, in our chat room, PJ Edwards wants you to talk about a little bit more about how you assembled this cast, how you cast the film.
It's like one piece at the time. I mean, the first character to cast was the father, and the Hugh Jackman's names came from a brainstorm with the producers who were talking about who will have the ability to bring the strength and the vulnerability in the same time. And at the same time, someone that, as much the character will do things that are could be seeing. How can I say that in English? Sorry. Just said that we needed someone that the audience will agree to follow, even if the character was going in a very disgusting, dark place. Doing the things that will be questionables, actions. And Hugh had those qualities, and he's a very, very strong actor. I was very impressed by what he did in the Prestige of Chris Nolan Prestige, and it really amazed me. And I always felt that it was an actor that had something to give, something that was not seen before in the screen. There's something there. There was and Hugh was really willing to go in that space where he never been before, and that was, it's always exciting to work with an artist when he's ready to go out of his own boundaries to go in new places, so to explore. And he was very generous. He was very committed. So from the start, when I got you, I needed someone that will be able to, if you think about a tennis game between the both characters, between the Killer Dover and Lucky, the detective Lucky, I needed someone that will be as a strong player as Hugh Jackman, to be able to throw him back the ball. I needed that because the movie is a duel between Lucky and Killer Dover. So I needed a strong detective, someone that will be able to create a character that will have the strength and to respond to Hugh. And Jake Gyllenhaal came. I was working on Jake at that precise moment when we started to look for a detective, and I just proposed Jake to the producers, and they were quite excited by the idea, and we approached Jake, and to my great happiness, he said yes. I mean, it was for me the perfect match. I asked Jake because Jake is a very creative actor, and this character, Detective Lucky, was all the characters in the script were very well defined, but not the detective. It was a character that I felt was lacking a bit of meat on the bone. It was a character that was more there to help the story move forward, but we didn't felt in the screenplay a complete human being. And Jake brought a lot of things on the table with the help of the Aaron Guzikowski, with the screenwriter. We brainstormed, the three of us together, to create a real character, and that's why I chose Jake Gyllenhaal. He's a very strong actor. And then came on board the cast came. Paul Dano, someone that, and Melissa Leo are both actors that I thought from when I read the screenplay. So we approached them right away. And then the other actors were people that came on the table as we were brainstorming to find the best cast assemble as possible, because there's no small part in Prisoners. Even the secondary characters need to be as strong as the leads, because every character has a dramatic curve that is require great skills, great acting skills. And for me, it was like so exciting to have the chance to work with Viola Davis, to have the chance to work with such an actress as actresses like Viola Davis or Maria Bello, or to work with Terrence Howard. Those are all great artists, great actors, and for me, it was a fantastic experience to have the chance to work with them.
Going back to Incendies for a second, you received a lot of international recognition for it, and of course the Oscar nomination for a foreign film. Would you say that film opened up a lot of new opportunities for you in terms of your choices and projects?
Yes, because to be honest with you, in a simple way, it's my when I made Incendies, it became my best film. I mean, it was the film that it's a movie that I worked so hard on the screenplay for years. You know, I made two first feature films before, and I was not happy with them because I felt that as much the actors were good, I felt that the screenplay, that I was my own screenwriters, and I felt that I was unsatisfied with the screenplay. I stopped making movies for a while because I felt that I needed to learn more about the art of screenwriting. And the thing is that I decided. I studied screenwriting for a few months, for a few years, and I decided to make the adaptation of Incendies, and it took me years to write the screenplay. And so it came from so much work. And when I finished Incendies, it was by far my best film. So it's like something that it's not coming from it's not a coincidence. I mean, I worked a lot to be able to make Incendies. And the way it was received changed everything for me. I must say that Incendies is based on a play, and the play is a masterpiece. So I must give back to the author of the play what it belongs to him, because the success of Incendies is based on great ideas, and those ideas were born in Wajdi Zmouad, the authors of the plays.
Foreign film category at the Oscars has been controversial over the years due to some internal politics in some countries and how some films are eligible. How did that process work for you and for Incendies in Canada?
Well, the thing is that I agree in some ways that from the start, every award ceremony, it's a subjective process. It's not it's something. It's a nice, when you're part of it. It's a nice compliment. You're very proud to be part of it. It's exciting. But every year there's movies that are not nominated that should have been nominated. It's something that is it's totally subjective. It's totally human. It's like it's not. There's nothing true about all these award ceremonies, or those are big parties for cinema. It's a way to celebrate cinema. It's nice, but it has nothing to do. It's not. How can I say? Film festival and award ceremonies are something that are subjective. I mean, so when you said that the best foreign language movie category. It's true that sometimes the countries themselves choose the wrong movies, and the Academy choose the wrong 5 films. Sometimes it happens that there's like in my own year, there's a movie of Gods and Man, or something, a French movie
Yeah.
of God and Man from Xavier Beauvoir was not chosen, and it was the best movie of the year. I mean, there's always things like this that it's a strange category, but it's, again, it's a beautiful privilege and honor to be part of it.
And to be the way the Oscars work, to every country selects one film. Did you feel what do you feel a lot of pride, a lot of pressure to be selected to represent Canadian cinema that year?
The thing is, when you represent your country, I mean, it was with Incendies, I think it was my third time that I was representing Canada or something, and before it was like, how can I say? To represent your country is something, but to be selected it's something else. You know, it's like the road to get a nomination is very long. And so when you represent, when you're choose to represent Canada, you're excited, but you're very calm because it's such a long road. Meaning that when we got nominated, we were very excited because it's a very long process, and the odds are all against you all the time. So it's just meaning that I think that every director that represents his own country right now is in some ways quite humble about it because it's a long, long process. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are like 70 or 80 films in any given
Yeah,
year
exactly,
that
exactly.
goes to
So
select.
to be among the five is it's a long thing. Yeah.
And it's a long process where first it's narrowed down to about 9 films, and then the final 5, and to make that first cut is really kind of an extraordinary thing.
Yeah, it's a long road. So you have to pace yourself. It's like a marathon. It's not a 100 meter race.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I want to wish you the best of luck with The Prisoners and the rest of its run, and congratulations on the film.
Thank you very much.